Hey guys, welcome back to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I think these thumbnails are going to be my downfall because the amount of balancing, how am I going to put this back down on the table? That's the question. I very carefully is the answer. This is the Kino Lorber December Spotlight, looking at every single title released by Kino Lorber and all of their partner labels for the month of December 2024. Now, there's always a star by that because there's usually a few things that haven't arrived yet. That we will see me organizing on the fly here. That we'll talk about in a future. So I'm making this video well before you see it, so it takes a little bit of time for all this stuff to come in. So what we don't have on hand right now, we'll catch up with. You guys check out my my Betty Boop as the Bride of Frankenstein. This shirt design was mentioned. I don't want to zip up Betty. Was mentioned in my interview with the Fleischer restoration team that I posted here, and I just love this. I love the two things that it represents, like Fleischer animation and Universal horror. All right, so thanks to Kino Lorber for making this video possible each and every month. This is our last spotlight of the year, and they have shown no signs of slowing down. We have over 24 titles here. Now, one of these is a holdover from last month. That's the On the Road, the Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Dorothy Lamour On the Road movie box set. But we've got, let's see, 4 4Ks, 2 Kino Cult titles, the On the Road box set, some reissues, some slipcover releases, and a partridge in a pear tree. So let's get into it. Let's do this thing. I'm going to kick it off with Snake Eyes on 4K. Nicolas Cage, directed by Brian De Palma. I like this movie. I saw this in theaters when it was brand new, and the thing that I remember most about it, or maybe the thing that I like the most about it, is that it opens with it's like a 10-minute one shot, like a tracking shot. De Palma was always experimenting with the form, and he was very influenced by some of the European filmmakers who would experiment with the way things were done. So he was always trying to expand how he could do certain shots. And this movie is Nicolas Cage walking into sort of like an arena, like a not an amphitheater because it's indoors, but walking into an arena in real time when we're following him, and everything is staged perfectly and timed perfectly, and you see the people coming up to him, and it's a really impressive feat of it's not live, but live in camera, sequencing and coordination, and that's what I remember the most about this movie. Plot wise, it's okay. It's a crime movie. Gary Sinise is in this. Is he even on the? He's not even on the box, is he? Let's see. Nicolas Cage, Gary Sinise, John Hurd, Carla Gugino. I love Carla Gugino. Stan Shaw, Kevin Dunn. This is fun. None of these have any alternate. Actually, a couple of them do. If they have alternate artwork, I will let you know. But if you're like, why aren't you showing the inside? Because there's nothing to show. Audio commentary by Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson. We're going to see those names a lot over the course of this video. Brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the 35mm original camera negative. Snake Eyes. It's good. Internal Affairs. This is Nicolas Cage and Andy Garcia. What year is this? 1990. So this is after The Untouchables for Andy Garcia. This is another one. It's like a corrupt cop sort of if you like Training Day and you haven't seen a lot of older movies, which I know there's a lot of people here who are just discovering movies, older than they are, or older, pre-2000, something like that. So if you like Training Day, here's a movie that does the same thing from 1990. I'm not going to get into the whole origins of this movie, but it's interesting in terms of the idea of a cop. I'm a cop, I can do whatever I want to do, and then you got the guy that's trying to bring him down. Brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 4K scan of the 35mm original camera negative. Audio commentary by film critics Alain Silver and James Orsini. The Clever and the Corrupt, that's an interview with the director Mike Figgis. His Most Dangerous Weapon is an interview with a screenwriter. One Bad Cop, interview with co-composer Anthony Marianelli. I put an A in there. Marinelli. Extended deleted scenes and an alternate ending plus a theatrical trailer. We have no alternate art here. Here's the back of the box. If you want to read that, then freeze it. And freeze frame that. Below on 4K as well. This is the third of our 4Ks. This is the David Twohy, the director of all those Riddick movies, those Vin Diesel Riddick movies. But before he was doing that, he was like a very ambitious genre film director. I guess as Riddick would show, because those escalate rather quickly, don't they? This is a submarine movie, but it's more than a submarine movie. It's sort of a chamber piece, and it's a chamber piece thriller at the bottom of the sea in a submarine. It's cool. But let's see. The writer is co-written by Darren Aronofsky, which is a big deal. And what do we got here? We got brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master 4K scan. All of these 4K scans. Are all these Paramount? Wait a minute. Hold on a tick. Paramount, and Paramount. All right, all four of these are Paramount. So if you want to see my interview with Paramount's head of restoration, Charlotte Barker, well, it's right here on the channel. I've probably linked to it right here, but maybe I've forgotten it's not there. If you can't, you could always search Serial at Midnight. You can also go to cerealatmidnight.com and search there. There's also an archive with hundreds of reviews and thousands and thousands of posts over many years. We got an audio commentary with David Twohy, the director, actor Mac Davis, Bruce Greenwood, Halt McElhenney, Zach Galifianakis, and Nick Chinland. Okay, I'm just reading stuff now. Deleted scenes with optional audio commentary with the director, theatrical trailer, and then a featurette. Did this have... No. Okay, the last 4K here is Hatari, John Wayne Hatari. It's Howard Hawks, it's John Wayne. Lee Brackett wrote this, did she not? Yeah, Lee Brackett. I don't love this movie. This is not one of my favorite John Wayne movies. It's... I don't have to get it. These big game hunters, but they don't kill them. They capture them and put them into captivity in zoos and circuses and stuff like that. I don't know. I prefer John Wayne in the Western role. I prefer him as sort of like the grizzled, the man coming to terms with his play. But that's kind of what this is too, I suppose. Brand new HDR Dolby Vision. Hey, what do you guys think about Hatari? That's and one of the selling points of this movie, and probably one of the reasons it's getting a 4K, is because it's got this lavish, like safari cinematography and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's about, dudes going out hunting animals and stuff like that, and bringing them back. It reminds me of, you know what? I feel like in The Lost World, it's the Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. That's Spielberg. It's not actually Jurassic Park 2, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The second Jurassic Park movie. I feel like the whole plot with like, let's capture a T-Rex. I feel like that's Spielberg homaging Hatari. Other things too, but that feels like homage to Hatari. Brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master 4K scan, original camera negative. We got an audio commentary by film historian and writer Julie Kurgo and writer-filmmaker Peter Hankoff. Who else do I want to mention? We've got red buttons in this movie. Gerard Blaine, Hardy Kruger, Elsa Martinelli. Wait. Okay, here's the Kino Cult titles. 2 Kino Cults. These are on Blu-ray. This is The Beast Within from, 1982, directed by Philippe Mora. This is... nothing alternate there either. Here, I'll hold this up, flip that around, let you guys read that. I have not seen this, so I don't know a whole lot about it. Audio commentary by director Philip Mora, historian Callum Waddell. Another audio commentary with the director and actor Paul Clemens. Audio commentary by screenwriter Tom Holland. What did that guy ever do? That's a joke. Sometimes my sarcasm is lost on people. Satire is lost in this day and age. I was a teenage... Is Cicada? Cicada. Yeah, right. I was a teenage cicada, The Making of the Beast Within. That's a 46-minute feature. Storyboarding the Beast. And a partridge in the pear tree. It's like a little wacko from Animaniacs. As a partridge in a pear tree. What in the world is going on here? I'm tired, I think. This is coming as I'm making this video, just to be totally transparent with you guys. I have done like a huge, like all week, like 2 or 3 videos a day, including some of these interviews that are like an hour long, where I edit my HD footage of myself into this Zoom footage, the low grade Zoom footage, and I am just on fumes, man. I am moments away, like hours away from a holiday break, but I'm not there yet. And so you're getting you're getting cartoon voices. Okay, Blood and Lace is Kino Cult number 23. I haven't seen this one either. This is, let's see. Hold on. This is it. Oh! Got alternate art here. Get my finger off of the title there, or the slug line. Terror strikes again and again and again from its hiding place in the darkest corners of the unknown. Blood and Lace, rated R, starts Friday to drive it near you. Blood and Lace, playing everywhere Friday. Audio commentary by film historians Richard Harlan Smith. Alternate opening titles, theatrical trailer. This is huge, man. This is a really big deal. Kino's been putting these Bob Hope and Bing Crosby movies out on Blu-ray for years now. The Road to the On the Road box set has been years in the making. And they've collected everything now into this beautiful box set. It's not particularly... what I like about this is that it's not ostentatious. You know, it's not... They've just put them in a box. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually what I think a lot of us would prefer. Just put them in a box, you know, instead of putting... Can you guys see the Capra set? No, you can't see the Capra set. It's right there. You know, it's great. But the packaging is an issue for me with that. Just put it in a box. Just put it in a box. Okay, so it's the 7 on the road movies. Bob Crope, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, slow down Heath, Dorothy Lamour in 6 of the 7. I'll do these really quick just so we can cover them. So they started in 1940 with 22 years these movies span. Could you imagine? Well, I was going to say, could you imagine them doing something like that today? They do. It's like, you know, how many years have they been making Fast and the Furious movies? About that long, right? Actually, maybe longer. So this is 1940. This is The Road to Singapore. We've got Bob Hope and The Road to Success, entertaining the troops, and a theatrical trailer. This is Bing with his pipe. Let's see. We've got The Road to Zanzibar. I'm not gonna cook it, but I'll order it from Zanzibar. And then I'm gonna... Do you guys know Tenacious D, the first album? Road to Zanzibar is from 1941. This is a weird one, man. This video is more a little more out there than I had planned on it being. Bob Hope and the Road to Success, Command Performance 1944. None of these have any restoration notes on them. And if anybody's wondering, like, I don't think there's anything new here. I think they've collected what they've already put out, put it in a box. Put it in a box. Road to Morocco. Audio commentary by film historian Jack Theakston. Jack Theakston's been here at Serial at Midnight. He's part of the 3D Film Archive. He's a freelancer outside of that, but he has worked on some things that I've talked to him about here. So Bob Hope and the Road to Success, Command Performance 1945, Trailers from Hell with John Landis. All of these road movies, you guys, they're crazy. I've said I like to talk a little bit about the movies and stuff and just give a little bit so I'm not just like, hey, look what came out. On I think it's Detour. I think it's the Criterion Blu-ray for Detour. I think they've got John Landis and Joe Dante riding around in the back of a car, riding around Los Angeles, talking about Poverty Row. And it's like they are a buddy comedy routine in and of themselves, Landis and Joe Dante, because like Dante is quiet and introverted and like, whatever. Like he's not a man of many words, and Landis never shuts up. And so it's like, oh, Joe, look, that's where the cowboy pitches were made. And Joe's like, yeah, that's it. He's like, okay, all right. It's fascinating. Okay, Road to Utopia. This is 1945. Audio commentary by filmmaker Greg Ford and filmmaker and music historian Will Friedwald. Bob Hope and the Road to Success. Again, Hollywood. I'm assuming that's the same feature, just on all of these. Hollywood Victory Caravan and the theatrical trailer. 1947 brought Road to Rio. This has no features whatsoever, no bonus features, and I wonder why that is. I'm sure it's not an accident. If anybody's like, Kino Lorber really dropped the ball, probably not. Probably studio something or other. This is The Road to Bali from 1952. We've now skipped ahead. What was that, 5 years we've skipped ahead? Audio commentary by Michael Schlesinger and Mark Evanier. Another guy, Mark Evanier, I've talked to here. I've talked to so many people. I'm really blessed to have been able to talk to so many people that are involved in the entertainment business. Mark Evanier, if only for his Marvel Comics experience, Marvel Comics in the golden age, not the golden age, but like, was he there in the 60s? Let's definitely say the 70s. Jack Kirby student, Jack Kirby champion. Then he goes on to TV work, a lot of cartoons, a lot of live action movie TV in the 70s. He was worked on Gru with Sergio Aragonés Gru, the comic book Gru, for decades now. And I had him on to talk about the 40th anniversary of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, which he was sort of the guy that brought across the finish line. And he's got a commentary here because he's a film historian. And I'll tell you, so here's more like just tangential behind the scenes information. He does a panel at San Diego Comic-Con every year, or multiple panels actually. And I was talking to, he's the showrunner. He was the guy that brought the Garfield and Friends cartoon in the 80s and the 90s to audiences as well. He was, like the guy when it came to that. And the Mendelsohn boys, Lee Mendelssohn's sons, Jason and Sean Mendelsohn, who I talk to them often about the new Charlie Brown soundtracks when those are released on vinyl and digital and CD and all that stuff. They're like, that's Mark Evanier is he's their uncle or something like that. He's a friend of the family for sure. And they're like, oh, we would go to his house, and no, he's a friend of the family. Their uncle is the czar of noir, Eddie Muller. Small world, right? Okay, so this has nothing to do with the road movies. This is such a long video. Shut up, Heath. The Road to Hong Kong, the last one. Dorothy Lamour is in this, but she's co-starring. We got Joan Collins above her. Audio commentary by filmmaker Michael Schlesinger and archivist historian Stan Taffel, who is one of the organizers of Cinecon. So I got to meet Stan this year as well, though he has not been here. So, Stan, gotta go on Serial at Midnight. We got The Train on Blu-ray. I'm assuming this is a 2023 HD master from a 4K scan. So we had The Train on Blu-ray, then we got it on 4K. I think this is the new 4K restoration on Blu-ray. So, they keep upgrading these as they get a chance to. If this makes you mad, you don't have to buy it. It would be stupid for something to exist to put out and for them not to put it out. So somebody's gonna be like, it's the third time. Yeah, it is, but you only have to buy it once. And if you already own it, you're good. You don't have to just keep buying it just because somebody puts it out. And if you have the 4K, why would you buy this? So anyway, this has everything. It's the Blu-ray version of the 4K, essentially. Audio commentary by director John Frankenheimer, audio commentary by Steve Mitchell, and Combat Films American Realism author Stephen J. Rubin. Isolated score by Maurice Jarre. 1964, The Making of the Train, TV spot, trailers, all that jazz. And then here's the alternate cover art right there. Taking a Pelham 123. Frank Tarzi loves these movies. I just talked to him again a few weeks ago. You guys love that interview, by the way. So many people have been like, I didn't know he knew so much about movies. Really? He's the guy that brings all this, like, he makes this happen. He's the man. He's picking these movies. He loves movies. That's what, like, the people that are putting this stuff out know a lot more about movies than we do. Or most of us do. Like, they're experts in their field. But a lot of you guys have been like, can we have more of Frank talking about movies? We love the Kino Lorber talk, but we have more of him talking about movies. Yes, that is the direction that we are talking about going in the future, he and I. But he loves the Taking a Pelham 123. What jogged my memory is he was saying, oh, these are some of my favorite movies. They came up again. He brings these up all the time. Fantastic movie, but this is the Blu-ray. If you have the 4K, there's a review for this at cerealatmidnight.com, by the way. Wonderful movie. Absolutely wonderful movie. Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw, Martin Balsam, Hector Elizondo. This has everything that the Blu-ray had, as far as I know. It's just the 4K, it's just the Blu-ray version of that. So all the special features. This is a big one for me. This is Monty Walsh. Now, I've got a pressing of this somewhere. A lot of the things we're going to talk about, I have somewhere from maybe a different studio or a previous edition. This is a big deal Western. Monty Walsh is Lee Marvin. Let me read the cast here. Lee Marvin, Jean Moreau, Jack Palance. I'm going to say Jacques Palance. Jacques Palance. Believe it Oh, nuts. This is 1970, and it's an idea of reconciling cowboys who no longer are just, I'm going to say cowboys in substitute for, like, whatever they may be in the West. Old gunslingers, however you want to phrase it. The idea of a cowboy without a frontier. Like the West is becoming modern, and you got these old guys that had, like, do we hang it up? Do we stop? The idea of we've outlived. I've seen this a lot lately. Like, we've lived too long, that kind of a thing. Like, we've lived outside of what we knew, and now we can't relate to what's happening anymore. Very interesting movie, kind of heartbreaking, kind of a love letter to the Western genre. Very realistic, and highly recommended from yours truly. As is The Killer Is Loose. This is a Classic Flicks put this out. Wonderful edition, but I don't think that edition had any special features. Now, this is from Kino Lorber, and it's got a commentary by Gary Girani. And, and a trailer, theatrical trailer as well. So this is a Bud Bedecker movie. You guys know I love Bud Bedecker. Speaking of Westerns, all those Renown movies, which were the Criterion put out the Renown cycle, but it's missing 7 Men From Now because that's with a studio that they is not licensing it, I guess. So anytime you see a Renown cycle, it never has 7 Men From Now, but that's part of the Renown cycle. Anyway, Bud Bedecker directed these movies. Randolph Scott starred in them. Harry Joe Brown. Anyway, Bud Bedecker is a low-budget filmmaker extraordinaire. You could call him like a workman director, or I don't know. That sounds kind of reductive, but the thing about this movie, like, he made this movie. It's just like it's a serial killer loose in suburbia movie. How do they describe it? Detective Sam Wagner's job is never easy, but this is no ordinary stressful day for Wagner, Joseph Cotton, and his wife Lila, Rhonda Fleming. After pegging a recent bank robbery as an inside job orchestrated by the deceptively mild-mannered, bespectacled clerk Leon Poole, played by Wendell Corey, Wagner heads to the suspect's apartment to make a peaceable arrest. Instead, Poole's beloved wife is accidentally killed in the crossfire of the shootout. This is all set up, okay? So the guy's wife is dead. Sent to prison and believing Wagner is responsible for his wife's death, Poole is desperate for revenge. Escape and murder soon follows, with the maniacal Poole hell-bent on taking away the woman Wagner loves. Helmed by the gritty Bud Bedecker, director of Horizons West, Wings of the Hawk, 7 Men From Now, they mentioned that, and The Tall T. The Killer's Loose takes... It's great. And the thing about this is Bud Bedecker made this movie with a shoestring budget. He brought it in under budget and in less shooting time than he was scheduled for. So early and under budget. And it's great. It's absolutely great. So, if you're one of these people who is, what is this, 1956? If this is new area for you, new territory for you, buckle up. It's good. Here's a couple more that are, I think I have maybe Arrow put these out years ago, but it's 2 Sho Kosugi movies. A show in the 80s, Sho Kosugi was the ninja. In fact, there's a series called The Master that Kino Lorber put out on Blu-ray with Lee Van Cleef in the 1980s, and Sho Kosugi. It's a ninja TV show. Ninjas in the 80s, if you were there, ninjas dominated the 80s. Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe. You had The Hand in Daredevil, the comic book Daredevil. You had, ninjas were everywhere. And these are great examples of 80s ninja movies. So we've got Pray for Death, which has an audio commentary by Mike Leader and film historian Mike Leader and UK cult movie director Ross Boyask, and Show and Tell, SHO for Sho Kosugi, Show and Tell Part 1 interview with Sho Kosugi. Now this one, Pray for Death, has 2 cuts. It's got the theatrical and an alternate longer cuts. How do they describe it? They're 4 minutes difference. It's not a huge difference, but they're 4 minutes apart. Unrated cut. So theatrical and then an unrated cut. It's 1985. Wait a minute. Did that have... No. Show you the back of that. And then Rage of Honor was 1987. And this has audio commentary by Mike Leader. Same guys. Show and Tell Part 2. Honorable mentions, interview with composer Stelvio Cipriani. Great, I think he's Italian. Italian film composer. And if you know, did he do the music for for Tentacoli. I think he did. American Ninja. If he didn't, I'm sorry. Geez, you can't make mistakes on a YouTube video. People are like, how dare you? American Ninja video essay by Chris Pugliali on the rise of the ninja film in the 1980s. Very cool. Did this have any alternate art? No, it does not. From 2000, The Claim. Now, I haven't... this is one of those in distant memory for me at this point, but it's just a reminder of what we used to have that we don't really have anymore. This is a studio movie. This is an MGM film. Let's see, Kingdom Films. Anyway, MGM owns this, and it was a studio movie in 1990 with young, attractive people, but it's essentially a Western. It's a gold rush town in the 1800s, and let's see, how do they describe it? Yeah, it's basically life and love and tragedy in a gold rush town in the 1800s. That's interesting to me because it's the hot young cat, like Mila Jovovich, Wes Bentley, Mila Jovovich, Natasha Kinski, Peter Mullen, Sarah Polley. That's not something we would, I don't know. I was going to say we wouldn't get that today, but 2024, despite what people who aren't watching a lot of movies think, 2024 has been the best movie year in a long time. There are things happening in 2024 that I can barely believe that we got. It's one of the best movie years, probably of the last decade. And anybody that says, no, it's not, they're watching movies. Because I've been in the theater like every single week, on average, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and I still haven't caught up with everything because there's that many good things. It's crazy. It's the best of times. Ramblin' Rose, it's the best of times and the worst of times because there's nobody watching those movies, and that's the problem. They do not succeed financially. Ramblin' Rose, I just talked about this not long ago when Imprint put it out. It's Laura Dern and her mom. So Diane Ladd is in this movie as well. That's interesting. But the idea is that Robert Duvall, I don't want to bury Robert Duvall either. Robert Duvall is, great. But the idea is like this woman is just herself, right? But she's too sexy for this town. There's a lot of that. A lot of like, she's just too sexy. It's directed by Martha Coolidge, who's a big deal. Martha Coolidge does an audio commentary here. We've got an audio commentary by Adam Naiman, film critic Adam Naiman. Alternate ending and outtakes with optional commentary by Martha Coolidge. We've got an introduction by Martha Coolidge, an interview with Martha Coolidge. Very cool stuff. Glad to see her involved in the release of her film. Here's another Western. This is Doris Day in the Ballad of Josie. This is an Andrew McLaglen movie. From Universal, 1968, which is after Doris Day's heyday. And if you know anything about Doris Day, this is against type for her. She was sort of the all-American woman, and then sort of a matriarch of America. If I don't want to quite a pull line. Doris Day, the matriarch of America. But kind of. She was a romantic lead in a lot of movies, but she's also like a mother figure for a lot of people, I think. Anyway, this is not that. This is a Western. I mean, it is that, but it's also, I mean, look, this is something else, right? This is that sort of grittier tone that you're getting into in the 1960s. We got audio commentary by Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell. We're almost done with the Kino Lorber Studio Classics, and the rest of this is going to fly by, so we're not going to go too much longer than we normally do. Kirk Douglas, Mitzi Gaynor, Gig Young, For Love or Money. You know who else is in this that's not on the cover? Is, Miss Julie Newmar is in this and does not make the cast list on the cover, but I love Julie Newmar. Catwoman, of course, from the 1960s Batman series, but she's in a ton of stuff, and she's really good. And is, knock on wood, she's still with us as of this recording right now. So this is it's got audio commentary by Howard S. Berger and Steve Mitchell. I'll flip that around. Did this have? No. All right, so that's the Kino Lorber Studio Classics. The rest of this is going to be Kino Lorber or partner. In fact, it's all Kino Lorber. I don't even think we have any partner labels. We got Greenwich Entertainment. Okay, so we have a few. This is a big deal. This is the Kino Lorber Classics from the library in association with the Library of Congress. This is John Barrymore, The Beloved Rogue from 1920s. It's 1927. Silent film, color tinted. We've got, check this out. So, new orchestral score by Robert Israel. That's cool. In stereo or in surround sound. Watching a silent movie with surround sound. That's surreal, I guess. Audio commentary by film historian Anthony Slide. Filmed introduction by Orson Welles. Now, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research on this because obviously I told you, I'm rushing. I'm trying to get stuff ready to go before the holiday break. Like, where did Orson Welles do an introduction for this? What was the production? What was the context for this? And I will know by the time this goes up probably, but that's just fascinating to me. John Barrymore is, of course, one of the biggest stars that there ever was or ever will be. So that's cool. I think these. No, I was gonna say most of these are documentaries. They're not all documentaries. This is from Greenwich. Hold on. I'm sorry. This is First Run Features. Much Ado About Dying. It's the premise of this film, just from what I've read about it, is that this. It's a documentary. This filmmaker gets a call from his uncle, his elderly gay uncle, it says. He says, I think I may be dying. And he's not, but for the next 5 years, this filmmaker records the process of like this guy getting closer and closer to death. And it's, like the lessons learned is one, not to be dismissive or diminish that, but that's a thing, right? It's like, well, the old teaching the young, right? And so that's interesting. So anyway, this is on DVD. The sad thing about a lot of this stuff to me, these documentaries, is that I'm grateful that they're getting DVDs because, of course, we know DVD still outsells Blu-ray every single month, and it definitely outsells 4K. DVD is still the format king, and people go like, well, if they stop putting out DVDs, the other formats would rise. I don't think so. I think people would just stop buying them altogether, and that's what a lot of studios think too. The people I've talked to certainly think that. The shame is that these don't get better video quality presentations. They are often on digital. In fact, they're almost always on digital. And when I'll tell you, like when I really like a documentary that I see here, if it's not on 4K or Blu-ray, if it is on digital, I will often buy the digital version so I have a better. And somebody goes like, digital better than a disc? Yeah, 4K digital is going to be better than a DVD, and so I'll buy it, have it in that format, so I have the best presentation of that. And this time of the year, there's a lot of good digital sales if you're into that. And I know not everybody is, but I take movies any way that I can get them. I collect my films across every format. This is a documentary about Everest, the Quest Everest. The Quest Everest, yeah. Not the Quest 4, just the Quest Everest. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a documentary about Everest. This is a I Could Never Go Vegan. This guy was raised vegan. Documentary. This guy was raised vegan, and he's been told all his life, like, I could never go vegan. So he challenges himself. He's like, why? Well, let's see about this. So, it's seeing if he's right and everybody else is wrong, or if they know something he doesn't know. He's testing himself, and it's a true story. So it's real. It's a doc. Let's do this. Another documentary. This is Never Look Away. This is about a fascinating documentary on a death-defying photojournalist. CNN camerawoman Margaret Moth fearlessly captures footage of war zones. After receiving an injury in the crosshairs of battle, she returns to work more courageous than ever. Again, true. It's not a movie, it's not a fictional narrative. It's a documentary. This is a film. This is a doc. What do they call it? A docu-fiction. That's what it says. So it's not real. Jerry, an ordinary immigrant dad retired in Orlando, is recruited by an undercover agent for the Chinese police. His family recreates the events of the film, and his 3 sons discover the darker truth. True crime meets spy thriller in this genre-bending docu-fiction hybrid about an immigrant's search for the American dream. It's the guy that it happened to acting it out with his family, recreating it. I don't know. That's. I guess it's not that different from some of these like true crime shows where they'll have. Oh, do you guys remember the show Mystery Diagnosis, which was this like mid-2000s, like mid-aughts medical show, and these people would like, and that's when I fell down the stairs, and then they'll have like, oh, like it's terrible, but it's the people reenacting the thing that happened to them. My spleen blew up. Oh, anyway. This is the Arthur Dong collection. Now, this is a repackaging. No, it's not repackaging. It's a collection of previously released titles that we've talked about before. So it's all of these movies, but the discs themselves were Arthur Dong's Asian American Stories, Arthur Dong's LGBTQ Stories, and Arthur Dong. Oh, this 3 is bonus features. So that we don't think we had that before. Bonus features include additional shorts from, let's see, 1970, 1981. Or are they shorts? Anyway, here, I'm gonna hold this up and let you guys read that and freeze that if you want to know more. And I saved this one for the last because I'm intrigued by this. I try to end on like something that I can really sink my teeth into. This is Rhythm Thief. Now, I've never heard of this. I'm not aware of this. It's a Matthew Harrison film from was it 1995? I think it is. I'm looking. It says 2024, but I believe. Give me a year. Yeah, one of the best director prize at the 1995 Sundance Film Festival. That's a big deal. And the best dramatic feature at South by Southwest. It's been restored in 4K. This is not a 4K. It sounds interesting. It's got crime and punk, and I'll say a level of eroticism, perhaps, that maybe seem kind of at odds with today, but maybe not. Maybe not, because we've had a little bit more of that in 2024 too. Again, people are like, well, they don't make those kind of movies. No, they do. Audio commentary with the director, deleted scenes, making of documentary. This is one of those that I saved it for last because I'm intrigued. My interest is piqued. You have my attention. There's a few things, like I said, that aren't here yet. We'll get to those in the future whenever they show up. Huge month. Wrapping up a huge year for Kino Lorber. I have to imagine, I don't know this, but I have to imagine this was the biggest year in the history of the company for Kino Lorber. They continue to put out dozens of titles every single month. And one of the reasons I enjoy doing these shows is because when you put out a volume of titles like that, things slip under the radar. They fly under the radar and you don't know about them. So I make these videos to highlight them so that you know what's coming out. I continue to battle. I don't battle because I don't care, but people say things like, well, you're just showing off all your free stuff, man. That's never the point of these videos. The point of these videos is to show you, hey, look what's coming out. If you're interested, here's what it looks like. Here's what it comes with. Here's what I think about it if I've seen it. I think that's a service that a lot of people understand. It's a shame that there are some that don't, but I'm not going to stop just because somebody's like, I think maybe they're just jealous of it. I don't know. I'm not going to stop though. And you guys aren't going to stop either because we're going to continue this into the new year. Let me know what movies you've seen. Have you seen the Doris Day Western? Have you seen, hey, what's your favorite on-the-road movie? Do you have a favorite on-the-road movie? For that matter, where do you fall on Snake Eyes by Brian De Palma? And where do you put Snake Eyes in De Palma's filmography? And see, I could go another 15 minutes on De Palma and Scarface and how people don't understand that movie and all kinds of stuff. But I'll save it for another time. Wishing you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope that you have a great one. I hope that you get some rest and time off. And I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Take care. Till next time, I will catch you later.